You've got mail. Hey, it's me, Emma, and I am making a button puppet tutorial. I use needle felting, so this is specifically needle felting, but you really use any material to make these guys. These silly little guys are super wiggly and simple, so I will walk you through how to make them. And what will you need? I'm glad you asked. I needle felt, so the main bodies that I make are made of wool, and then you are going to need embroidery thread, buttons, beads, and a popsicle stick. You will also need a needle threader, and a hot glue gun and scissors. And if you're using wool, you're going to need felting needles, but you can really use clay or cardboard or anything you can think of to make these puppets. Starting with a head and a body, I tie the wool into a knot. This helps with that starting circular shape for the body or head. Then you're going to wrap a little more wool around it until you kind of eyeball out the size that you want. The head is going to be a little bigger than the body, and I'm using just wool shapes for the ears and the spikes by adding on that wool, felting it with the needle, and building that shape out until I get like a point at the end, repeating that 5 times or so. And when you're making the body, you want to leave some loose wool so that you can attach that head. As you can see, you're going to like sit it down into it, and then when you felt the wool into the head, it's going to create a very smooth finish, so it looks like all one piece when you get done with it. Now for details, you're going to take some tan wool. I detail in Sonic's ears and his cheeks and his iconic little tummy, and this is just the easiest way for me to add details with anything. The nose is just a little piece of black wool felted directly into the center of his face, and it kind of builds up its own little bump. But I did end up making his nose bigger later because I made Sonic and Knuckles and Tails, and I made their noses really big, so I wanted them all to match. Now that you've got the body done and you've added the details, you're ready for arms and legs. So you're going to need a needle with a nice big hole and some embroidery thread to go through that hole. You're going to dig around and you need to find some buttons, slightly bigger ones for the feet, some smaller ones for the hands. Really just whatever you want to do. Like, you can mix match them, but I was just looking for a pair that would match for my little Sonic. Ding! You are really going to want a needle threader for this process. It's just going to make it a lot easier to get that thread through the needle and through the buttons later, because you are going to have to thread it and tie it through those little buttonholes. Cut an appropriate length of thread. You know, the more the merrier, better safe than sorry. And you're going to gently pull this embroidery thread through that needle. I use a tapestry needle, so it's pretty dull, and it's got a really big hole in it. It's just because I use it for this project where it goes through the wool really easily. You're going to stick it straight through his body, pull it out the other side, and those will be his arms. All he needs now are some hands. You are going to thread that embroidery thread down through the button. See, I pull it through with the threader, and then I put it back through a different hole. Just makes getting that through there a little bit easier. I did have to lick it to make it stick through there. It tends to come apart, because embroidery thread is made up of like 9 other little threads. Tie it into a little knot. I just double knotted it. Give it a good tug, make sure it's secure. And you've got one arm done. Snip. I went ahead and did it on the other side. You want to make sure that you have enough length on the other side when you tie that second button on, because that's when you're deciding how long the actual string is. Go ahead and add in those legs as well. For Sonic, it's just the same color thread. Add those buttons on, very cute. And I stitched on some seed beads. Forgot to film it though, whoopsie. Got plenty of wiggle now though. Definitely has a soul. But the boy can't move on his own, so we're gonna have to help him out a little bit. Now that your little wiggle guy is done, you're ready to attach him to a popsicle stick. Oops, wrong color. Sorry about that, Sonic. I'm also restringing Nanoland because the clear thread did not sit very well. So I wanted to use this white thread that actually hangs and lets them get like a lot more controlled wiggle. So you're going to take that needle threader, stick it through one hole in the button, and you are going to pull it back through. You're pretty much repeating how you tied on the buttons for the arms, and leaving that long piece of white string loose on the other side so that you can attach it to the popsicle stick later. You're going to need 3 pieces of thread for this, 1 for each hand, obviously, and then 1 for the top of the head that you will see in just a second. I do add a little bit of E6000 glue to these knots just so they don't come undone because that thread is a little bit slippery. Repeat it on the other side here, speed through it, and then thread up that needle, and you're going to stitch one to the top of his head. This is like his main string. That's what's going to keep him off the ground. So this is going to be the one that you glue to the popsicle stick first. Right down the middle, you're going to twist up that main body string, and that is how far off the ground he's going to stand. Just plop a little bit of hot glue on there, and because I'm a maniac, I did use my really cold hands. It was very chilly this day, so it kind of felt nice to touch the hot glue. You're just going to let that stick down, and that is going to be like his height. For the other two strings, what you're really going to want to do is make him like T-pose. You want the hands to be equal length so that when he wiggles, you can tell a difference in like what side he's leaning to. There you go. You can see me kind of showing there that his other one is wrapped. I had a really bad angle on this because I was working at my desk. And my phone was like at a very strange diagonal, but did my best. There you go. He's got one arm up. He can wave at you. So just wrap that around the same length as the other side so that he's got his little hands out. Oh, they're so cute. I'm obsessed with these little puppets. I did string Nanoland back up because the clear, like fishing line kind of string I had used was really stiff. And even though you can see these white strings really obviously, it's just a little bit better. You get 100% more wiggle this way. Oh, he's got a soul. Hi, Sonic. Good to see you're alive, man. And you can see I made his nose bigger there. But it's not Sonic if it's not Sonic with his friends. So I made a shadow, and then I went back and hey, stop fighting, you two. Be nice to each other. Yeah, I thought you learned something from that movie. I also whipped up Knuckles and Tails and Sonic and Shadow. So now they're all friends. I hope this was helpful, and I hope you make a button puppet. Please tell me if you do. Bye!
Maria.
You have 13 seconds before the island fucking explodes, you hot topic wannabe, and you blue gumball son of a bitch. You have done nothing but destroy my life. I hope you both die.
Hot Topic?
No, my secret.